Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace and blessings of Allah to all of you, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. A'udhu billahi minash shaitan rajim. I seek refuge with Allah from the shaitan, the stone. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. With the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. The topic is what the Quran has to say about Qatal, the psychological killing. Now, before I directly discuss the ayahs, I would like to explain to you who are we as a human being. You see, we as human beings contains a physical body and a soul. In Arabic, badan and soul means nafs. We are a combination of body and soul. Now this body requires physical needs, and that is health, food, rest, shelter, sex, physical needs. And what the soul require, or what the soul require, that's our topic. So you must know we are a combination of both body and soul. When we are talking about the soul or the self, that's a separate requirement. And the physical needs or physical body is a separate thing. But they are connected when we are alive. So what this soul contains? The soul contains the emotions and feelings and intellect. This is what the soul contains. And if you know in the English word, the self and soul, there's a difference. Whenever you are thinking or planning something, that is your soul is doing it. In other words, the soul is thinking what to do and what not to do. And the intellect is also involved, emotion and intellect together. Intellect and emotions are two separate things within the soul. And finally, when you arrive at a conclusion, then you act upon. And the resultant that you do is yourself. That is, you can say I, that is ana. Ana is of any person, or I, when you say I am like that, that means your soul has been convinced of their feelings and emotions, and the intellect are jointly put a resultant by your works. You are convinced of a feeling, the feeling says this, and intellectually you are convinced, then you act upon, and that act is the resultant, and that is your self. That is how you become self in English. Same is described in the Arabic, and when we'll see the ayahs, you can see this. Now, if the Quran, in the Quran, there are both type of killings mentioned. Killing, when a person kills someone, physically, I am using the word physically, but actually you kill the nafs. Because the Quran says, Kullun nafsun zaiqatul maut. Kullun nafsin zaiqatul maut. It is always the psyche or the nafs is killed. Through the physical aspect or through psychological aspect. When you kill somebody or somebody kills you, it is the nafs is killed. The nafs is the psyche or the psychology. The physical body doesn't, it is just, it's like like something which has been it has been driven by the soul. Like a car. You drive the car, it's a body, you are the driver. So the soul, the self, is the driver of the body, which require physical needs. Actually, the Quran, all over the Quran, is addressing to your soul, the self. It's not addressing to your badan or the body. The soul, the self, which we carry, we carry our body, that is the Quran is addressing to that. Now, I will just, before I read the booklet, I would like to give you, because the Quran says in Surah Zumar 39:29, no, it's not in the booklet. I'm just trying to give you a point here. Because Allah says in Surah Zumar 39:42, Allahu yatawaffal anfus hina mautiya. Allah completes the nafs or the psychology or the psyche at the time of death. So it is always the nafs is dead. Kullun nafsin zaiqatul maut. It is the nafs is dead. Whether you kill physically, actually the nafs dies. The psyche dies. Or you kill psychologically, then again the nafs dies. So it is always the nafs that dies. And when you are asleep, the nafs is taken out by Allah. The psyche, which is supposed to be, in other words, in English they say conscience. You become unconscious. You don't know when you are sleeping. Or when you are unconscious, the psyche is being taken out by Allah. And to whomever He wills, He sends it back. Then you get up in the morning. And if He holds back, you are dead. So, death is very related to your sleep or your unconsciousness, or even if you go into coma. Coma is a last degree, then this unconsciousness and sleep, they are all interlinked, and death is final. That means the nafs is being stopped or got hold of it. It's completed by Allah. So then you die. Now coming to some of the do's and the don'ts that are mentioned in the Quran, I will discuss, and I will tell you why I'm discussing these do's and the don'ts in the initial page of the booklet. There are many orders, or do's and don'ts means there are certain aspects which the psyche has to do. Psychologically we have to understand, and we have to implement those aspects which are mentioned in the Quran. Those things are known as do's. And there are certain things which we are not supposed to do psychologically. Like for example, in Surah Al-Isra 1778, to establish the prayer. First is the psychology. In our psychology, we understand things that we have to establish the salah, the prayer. We come understand. Then we order the body to act upon. So body also do the standing position and bowing position and prostrating. That means the psychology have understood, the nafs have understood. So it's obeying the order of Allah. Our psyche is obeying the order of Allah, and we are standing, bowing and prostrating. That is the physical aspect as well. Then Surah Al-Baqarah 2 and 185, to fast. When you fast, it is the requirement of the body. When you are fasting, the requirement is of body, the food. So we are actually striking the body not to eat. It's a lawful thing. Food is lawful. The lawful food is allowed to eat. But in Ramadan or in otherwise, there are times when you do some mistakes. Then Allah says you have to fast. So in other words, on your body you are restricting certain principles. Your psyche or the nafs is restricting the body to fast. And psychological also. But who is the driver? Psychology. Psychology, nafs is asking, the soul is understood the ayahs and said, you are not going to eat, you are not going to drink before sunrise and sunset. So this is again an act upon the body. But who is doing it? The nafs, the psychology. Al-Baqarah 2 and Ayah 196, to perform pilgrimage. Now it's a physical hassle when you go to pilgrimage all over the world, people, it's a big hassle when you go to Hajj. So your psychology is ordering, when you have understood the ayat, it is convinced, and the do's means you will go there, and you will have the effect on your physical and as well as psychological. Mujadala 58 and 12, to give charity. Now in charity is nothing to do with physical. Though you must be earning physically, do some work, physical action is involved, and once you get the profit, and from the profit you give charity. But giving the charity is not a physical, it's just giving it. Al-Hajj 22 and 78, to strive and struggle for Allah. In striving, both the physical and the psychology aspects are involved. That's a detailed aspect, but I'm telling you both the psychology and the physical aspect is involved in struggling your life. Then Surah An-Nisa 4, inheritance of law. Like, for example, what you inherit from your parents, then you have to distribute to the categories, to your brothers and sisters that you have to follow. That's again psychological. Parents and children relationship are also psychological and sometimes become physical. Physical action between the parents and children. But basically is again the psychological relationship. Al-Baqarah 2 and 172, eat lawful food. For the physical need, there is a lawful food mentioned in the Quran, what to eat and what not to eat. That's a separate issue, but it is a requirement of physical need. Surah Nisa 4 and Ayah 29, I am now reading the don'ts. Eat wealth with falsehood. That is a don't. Do not eat wealth with falsehood. So this is also a psychological aspect. You understand that psychologically you do not have to eat falsehood by falsehood. Al-Hujurat 49:12, suspicion and backbiting is also psychological. It has nothing to do with physical. You are backbiting somebody, you speaking ill about somebody, and your suspicion is also related to psychology. Al-Hujurat 49 and Ayah 11, sarcasm, bad names giving to people is also related to psychology. Al-Ma'idah 5:38, it is related to psychology, but the physical body does it. You plan it, your psychology plan it how to rob, and once you have made the plan in properly, then the body functions by the order of your psyche. So both are involved. Al-Isra 17:31, to kill the children due to poverty. This can be both physical and psychological. We'll discuss. Al-Isra 17:33, suicide to kill himself or psychology to kill. To kill psychological also. We will discuss this topic. Al-Ma'idah 5:90, drugs, drinking, gambling. Now drugs, drinking is again related to physical aspect. Psychologically you are forbidden to not to drink the drugs or drink the drugs and intoxicants which makes you befog your mind. Those are the intoxicants you are forbidden not to take. Then eating of the pork is also physical aspect. That's a physical need, physical body requires, but Allah says not to eat the pork. Adultery and fornication and homosexual lesbianism is all physical, but also related to emotional because the psychology is also involved. So what I am going to discuss, you see, normally people have this concept of one life, that we are alive and we'll die. This is a general concept in the world, that we are alive and we'll die. But in the Quran, there are 2 lives and 2 deaths. 2 lives and 2 deaths. So if you open Surah Al-Baqarah 2, Ayah 28, كَيْفَ تَكْفُرُونَ بِاللَّهِ وَكُنْتُمْ أَمْوَاتًا فَأَحْيَاكُمْ ثُمَّ يُمِيتُكُمْ ثُمَّ يُحْيِيكُمْ ثُمَّ إِلَيْهِ تُرْجَعُونَ. How can you reject with Allah when you were dead? Then He gave you life, then He will give you death, and then He will give you life, and then towards Him will be your return. Now if you look at in the start, it starts from death, then life, then death, and then life. 4. 2 lives and 2 deaths. So 2 lives and 2 deaths you have to understand. One is a physical life as we are alive, and one is a psychological life. In the Quran is described. So killing also is also based in 2 aspects, because one dies. If you kill physically, when I say physically, the nafs dies. But we refer to physical kill. That this man kills somebody, actually he kills the nafs of that person, he died. But the reason was the physical. So physically I will explain, then I will explain the psychological aspect. First physical aspect would be that before we come into this world from a mother's womb, we are dead. Though heart is functioning. Heart is functioning in the mother's womb after 3-4 months, I suppose. But once we come out from the mother's womb, you see, we come out from water, we are in the water bag, and once we come out, we are basically dead because the lungs are not functioning. The child is born dead. And the moment you slap the child on the back or something, then the child takes that first breath, and that is how the life begins. And till he is dead, the lungs are functioning. So sometime you must have heard the child was born dead. Born dead. Actually he is born dead, but he is alive. So you start with physical, he is dead, and then he becomes alive physically. And then he will die. And the other side he will be resurrected or alive again. So death, alive, death, and the third is again alive on the other side. But the question is, Allah says, كَيْفَ تَكْفُرُونَ بِاللَّهِ? How can you reject Allah? Because the last alive we don't know normally. We have to believe that after death there is a life, there is life. So normally people do not have this clear concept. We normally think that we'll die, we'll become dust. We think like that. So Allah is reminding us the 3 stages which you already know. Meaning we come out from nothing. Before my mother was not pregnant, where was I? I was nowhere. So basically we come out from nothing, then death, and then alive, and then die. The 3 things we know. So in order to believe in the 4th is easy. Allah reasons with you to tell you that you know these things, the 4th you must believe. That is why people do not believe in the hereafter, because they do not believe that we'll give an account on the Day of Judgment. Because they think that this is our life and we'll die and we'll be dust. They don't have the concept that we will be alive again. So in what capacity they will be alive, that is a separate thing. But the question is that they know for sure that they came out of nothing, then they were dead, then they are alive, and they will die. They are seeing it all the time. So to believe the 4th aspect is easy to believe. Now on the Day of Judgment, the other side, these people confirm, and that is in Surah Ghafir, Surah 40 and 11 verse. قَالُوا رَبَّنَا أَمَتَّ نَثْنَتَيْنِ وَأَحْيَيْتَ نَثْنَتَيْنِ فَاعْتَرَفْنَا بِذُنُوبِنَا فَهَلْ إِلَى خُرُوجٍ مِّن سَبِيلٍ. They said, our Lord, you made us die twice and you gave us life twice. So we confess our sins. So is there any way, is there from a way towards exit? So on that day, every human being is confessing, we were born, we were given 2 deaths and 2 lives. So in this world also, Allah is explaining that you are dead, you are alive, you are dead, you are alive. 2 lives, 2 deaths. And similarly on the other side, you will confess that there are 2 lives and 2 deaths. 1 life you all know, the other life you are going to discuss today. Now Surah Qaf 50 and Ayah 16. وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ وَنَعْلَمُ مَا تُوَسْوِسُ بِهِ نَفْسُهُ وَنَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْهِ مِنْ حَبْلِ الْوَرِيدِ. And without doubt we created mankind, we know what his soul, self, psyche whisper with it. And we are nearer, closer towards him from his jugular vein. which carries deoxygenated blood to the heart. That's the definition of jugular vein. Now the question is, Allah says we created mankind, we know what is soul, self, psyche, I mean whisper with it. So in our soul, in our psyche, soul is whispering to us. Who are we? The resultant. When soul whispers to what? To who? To the resultant, your being, your I. When I say I'm like that, there is a soul is just whispering to you in your mind, in your thought process. So Allah says we are nearer or closer towards Him, the resultant, from His jugular vein. So we know the soul. I told you there's a difference between a soul and a self. Self is a resultant of your soul. When intelligence and emotions put together and the resultant is drawn, that is you. So in our mind, the soul is giving us, whispering us, to me. The soul is whispering me to do what to do and what not to do. And the soul, normally in Surah Yusuf, what is soul I'm describing? In Surah Yusuf 12:53, وَمَا أُبَرِّئُ نَفْسِي إِنَّ النَّفْسَ لَأَمَّارَةٌ بِالسُّوءِ إِلَّا مَا رَحِمَ رَبِّي إِنَّ رَبِّي غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. And I do not acquit free from my soul. Surely the soul definitely orders with badness, ill, except what my Lord did mercy. Surely my Lord is forgiving, merciful. Now this is the wife of Aziz is saying this. I do not acquit or free from my soul, and surely definitely it orders with evil, badness. Illa ma rahima Rabbi, except Allah has mercy for me. So soul is always something which is giving you orders of badness, to do bad. That's not shaitan. Shaitan is separate. Shaitan inspires the soul and the soul starts doing things by herself, by inspiring the self to do so. His job is done. Then you yourself blame yourself on the day of judgment. Or when the shaitan, when you say it was the shaitan just invites you to do wrong and he backs up. Then you do it. That is why then you blame. You start blaming. And that is the next ayah explains in Surah Al-Qiyamah 75, 1 and 2. La uqsimu bi yawmil qiyamah wa la uqsimu bin nafsil lawwama. No, I swear with the day of resurrection, and no, I swear with the soul, psyche of blaming himself or to the others. Lawwama, malamat. You know malamat, blaming. So first the soul whispers, the second is whisper bad, evil things, and once you committed that bad, then the third is lawama, means then you blame. You want to put the blame on yourself or to blame to shaitan or blame to someone else. Then you are in the condition of blaming. This is the three process of the soul. And this is not shaitan, and shaitan has already inspired the soul and his soul is doing it. Soul is a combination of intelligence and emotions. They both together do it, and once they have done it, it becomes yourself. That's become yourself. So then you comes in the condition of malamat, or lawama means blaming it either to somebody else, blaming to yourself, or blaming to something. That is the condition of that soul. Now, I will read those ayahs which Allah says what to kill and what not to kill, how to kill and what not to kill. Surah number Al-Furqan 25 and ayah 68. وَالَّذِينَ لَا يَدْعُونَ مَعَ اللَّهِ إِلَهًا آخَرَ وَلَا يَقْتُلُونَ النَّفْسَ الَّتِي حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ إِلَّا بِالْحَقِّ وَلَا يَزْنُونَ وَمَنْ يَفْعَلُ ذَلِكَ يَلْقَى أَثَامًا. And those who do not call other gods with Allah, and they do not kill the soul self-psyche that Allah has made haram, forbidden, except with the truth. And they do not commit fornication, adultery, and whosoever does that, he will meet sins. You see, in this ayah, our lecture is to kill. Now, if you read that, I'm going to read that small portion. وَلَا يَقْتُلُونَ النَّفْسَ الَّتِي حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ. Meaning, and they do not kill the nafs. They do not kill the nafs, the psyche or the soul, which Allah has made forbidden, haram Allah, illa bil haq, except by the truth. So now, if Allah said, do not kill the nafs, the psyche, do not kill the nafs, the psyche, the soul, illa bil haq, except by the truth. Now, if Allah says, if I kill someone by a gun, is it haq? Because Allah allows you cannot kill any soul, your soul or any other soul, except by the truth. So what is haq? Of course, al-haqqu min rabbika fala takunanna min al-mumtarin. The truth is from your Lord, and do not doubt. So except by the truth, you can kill somebody. And that killing would be nafs, psychological killing. So he is telling you what weapon you have to use to kill someone or you kill yourself. He is not asking you to kill by gun or by knife or by any sort of means except by the truth. وَلَا يَقْتُلُونَ النَّفْسَ الَّتِي حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ. It is forbidden to kill the soul, nafs, the psyche, except illa bil haq, except the truth. And what is the truth? Quranic ayat, the essence. Al-haqqu min rabbika. Haq is from your Lord. Do not doubt. Wala yaznun, and do not fornicate. وَمَنْ يَفْعَلْ ذَلِكَ يَلْقَى أَثَامًا. And whoever does that, he will meet sins. So that's separate topic of zina and fahisha. Then further I will read, again you will see this, Al-Isra 17 Surah 33. وَلَا تَقْتُلُوا النَّفْسَ الَّتِي حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ إِلَّا بِالْحَقِّ وَمَنْ قُتِلَ مَظْلُومًا فَقَدْ جَعَلْنَا لِوَلِيهِ سُلْطَانًا فَلَا يُسْرِفْ فِي الْقَتْلِ إِنَّهُ كَانَ مَنْصُورًا. And you do not kill self-soul psyche, which Allah has made haram, forbidden, except with the truth. And whosoever has been killed oppressively, so without doubt we made his protector an authority, so let him not exceed in killing, surely he is being held. What was allowed? First Allah said, do not kill anyone except by the truth, al-haq. But further he says, and whoso has been killed oppressively, so without doubt we made his protector an authority, so let him not exceed in killing. The further ayah says, what type of killing is mentioned? Physical. You were allowed to kill by the truth, but you kill physically. You kill the nafs. Remember, you are killing the nafs. You will always, when you kill somebody, we say physically, but you have killed the nafs through physical. Nafs will die. Because I told you, kullun nafsin zaikatul maut. It is always the nafs dies. So it says, whosoever has been killed oppressively, that means you have killed the person. Allowed was to kill the psyche by haq, with the truth. But you physically, I'm using the word physically, you killed him. You killed his nafs physically, that he died oppressively. That is not allowed. So then there is a what to do, and there are certain things that you have to give the blood money, and some details are mentioned in the Quran. I will not go into that. I'm just reading how the psychology killing is mentioned in the Quran.